All right, we are live. We've been fiddling with Jason's camera for like 15 minutes. We'll figure it out eventually. We're here today talking with Jason Coleman about the do's and don'ts of raising prices. It's inevitable in businesses to raise prices, and Jason's always been a guru at figuring out prices and investing. And I mean, look at the business he's built for the last almost 15 years. So,
oh, shucks. Thank you. Yeah, this is pricing in general, raising prices specifically. It's an important topic. If your prices are bad, it can ruin your whole business. You can, potentially be making a lot less money than you should be. You can potentially not make enough money to cover your expenses. And it's really tricky. And I feel like, it's not easy to learn. There's a lot of subtlety to doing it. Maybe there's some best practices and you can just copy your competitors, and that's actually a really good starting point. But ideally you want to come up with good pricing schemes. And part of that, if you're running a subscription service that has annual renewals or monthly renewals and you're running for many years, you're going to want to raise your prices eventually. Inflation is a reality. The cost of everything goes up. The cost of your membership sites, the cost of your software as a service sites, the cost of your courses should all go up. So what I'd like to do is talk through some of these topics. And again, just to reiterate, why this is so important is really there's three key ways to make more money. You can, one, get more customers, which we're always trying to do, get more members for our memberships. You can sell different things, new things, maybe to the same customers or different customers. So that's either creating a new product and branching out, or expanding your business horizontally, or just finding new things to sell to the customers and members you already have. Or three, you can raise your prices. So you can raise your prices and make more money. So it's important to understand what that process might look like, both at the business level and then specifically if you're using Paid Memberships Pro, how it works with our software. One really important point about raising prices is to think of that phrase, raising prices, as its own term, meaning you came up with a higher price for what you're selling on your website for your membership, and you're changing the price in your software, Paid Memberships Pro, on the level settings. You're changing the price on your pricing page. You're changing the price in all of your sales material that talks about your price, and you present the higher price to your new customers. That's raising your prices. And then there's a second piece, and we actually, sometimes when we say raising prices, we really mean this other thing called a price correction. And so that's when you have existing customers who are paying the old price. Say you started at $10 per month, and now you're raising the price to $20 per month. When you ask those existing members to increase what they're paying, that's a price correction. So I think a lot of the content, even on our own site, just says raise prices and assumes that means raising prices for existing customers, or we use that big mouthful of a phrase, raising prices for existing customers as well. But I'll try to say raising prices is, hey, I have a new higher price for my thing, and I'm going to use that price. Or price correction is I'm going to figure out how to raise prices for my existing customers without pissing them off.
I never thought of it that way. And in all of our blog posts and everything like that, we always say raising prices, and we don't talk about what to do for those existing members.
Yeah. And that's actually the differentiating those terms is new to me too. So, and I saw that recently, and I was like, ooh, I like that. I'm going to use that when I'm talking about price increases.
We should add it to our post for sure.
Yeah. So, yep, we can make sure to use that language. And again, there's so many options with price increasing. There's no one true path. But so I'll try to talk through the options and give some rationale around why you may or may not, want to use, how to think about these things and the different options that you have. And so we have a blog post we can share in the chat with folks that goes into some of this stuff. Yeah. Do you got it, or?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and that's supposed to aggregates a lot of our thinking and content about raising prices over the years, and through the, it's some of it is lessons learned from us specifically raising prices ourselves in the past. Um, and so I'll try to go through some of those points. Like, so point number one, I think hopefully this is obvious, but I think it's not, is to be upfront and honest about the price increase. What you don't want to do is just raise the price on those existing users and have them surprised that by the fact that, you know, they got a price increase. You don't want to lie about why you're raising prices. You don't want to, you know, you just want to be transparent and upfront. You want to say, hey, and the way that you can do that in a positive way and say, hey, the product is getting better. The price is increasing. And I think you can kind of leave it at that. It's like, hey, I think like shorter, like when you're sending this message about the price increase, kind of less is more in terms of like what you say. And so saying, hey, we're changing, our product is getting better. It's time to raise prices. We're raising our prices, period. And if you do share some of the whys, it's going to be honest. I think it's not useful to get into the details of like how much it costs to run your business. The people really don't care. And so that's maybe part of my number two is don't be apologetic about raising prices. You want to be firm in your messaging. And I think people, they just want to hear what they have to do. They want to hear where they stand. They don't want to hear about the ins and outs of how hard of a decision this was for you, or kind of how, you know, how your costs break down and why you had to raise rates. So just raise the rates, be upfront and honest. 2, don't be apologetic about it. 3 is a tip is to inform affiliates and partners first. So as soon as you know, hey, I'm going to be raising my prices for new customers, if you have affiliate relations set up where people are sending you deals, you have to figure out if you have a $300 product with a $100 affiliate kickback. Now that you have a $500 product, is that still a $100 kickback, or maybe the kickback is bigger because the higher price is bigger? And so reaching out to them and telling them what's coming up, giving them a heads up, giving them time to update their messaging as well, if they have information about your pricing, is important. And then they're also an asset in this, the price increase that's coming. And I think there's a component here where when you do a price increase like this, if you have legacy pricing, we'll get to that, number 5, you have an opportunity for a kind of natural sale. And so if you have that kind of, you're raising your prices, but existing customers get locked into the current price, you can promote to your users, hey, we're about to raise our prices, lock in now. And getting your affiliates to help spread that message is important. So number 3 here, communicate with your affiliates and your partners as soon as possible. Number 4, I mentioned this before, it's snuck in there, but it's like, don't surprise your audience. Don't surprise your members. You don't want them to just see the price increase somewhere else, or see it on their account or in their statement. Of course, it's good to give them as much of a heads up as possible that, hey, we're about to increase your pricing. And I think like one important kind of tactical tip around doing that we've learned, and that is is when you are sending this message to customers, to put the message as close to the subject line as possible about the price increase. And specifically segue to number 5, talking about legacy pricing. If you're sending that email to your existing users and you're choosing not to raise their prices, you want the subject line of that email to be, we are not raising your prices. And because we sent an email before where we put it in the first paragraph, and people we still got so much feedback saying like, oh my God, is my membership price increasing? And so the next iteration of the email, we made it the first sentence in the email, your PM Pro is raising prices, first sentence, your price is not increasing. People don't even read the first sentence. They're like, oh my God, is my membership price increasing? So we put it as the subject line, your price is not increasing. I think something like that. Let me get like the exact wording here. We have like a screenshot, I think, of the, well, but maybe it doesn't include the subject. Let me see here. What do we say? Yeah. I thought it had the exact wording in here, but it's something like that. It's like, hey, your plan is not changing, something to that effect. If you're choosing to do legacy pricing, make that. And even if you make it the subject line, you're still going to get people who email and say, is my plan changing? And so just be ready to, have honest feedback to them about what's happening.
It's amazing how how many people don't actually read?
Sure. Yeah. They'll
Because if
scan your
you read
email,
it,
they'll miss. Yeah.
you would know.
Yeah. And then you're kind of like, what do I reply? Like if I feel like they're not going to read my reply either, what do I do? Like, how do I say the same thing without just saying the same thing over again and making them feel stupid? But sometimes that's what you gotta do. They kind of like, hey, you might have missed it, but we were trying to make it clear, that existing customers are not having their prices increase. So that's if you offer legacy pricing. When I say call it legacy pricing or grandfathering in their price, what that means is if you raise your prices, say from $10 a month to $20 a month for new customers and members, you keep old members at the existing price. And this is valuable for a couple reasons. It kind of skirts that issue of people being upset about the price increase. So I guess that's good. You don't have to deal with it. There is a chance those existing users kind of cancel their account. And so, you don't have to worry about that aspect. There is the flip side of that is you're losing money because you're not charging more. Almost always, I think, if you raise your prices, the people who your true customers that need and enjoy your product, they're going to pay the higher price if it's sane. If you're not raising your prices 10 times what it was or something crazy like that. But then the math almost always works out where like you're raising your prices, even if you're doubling your prices, you lose half your customers, like your revenue is the same. And you probably lose less than half your customers in that scenario. And so you kind of make out revenue wise, which is kind of the whole point, to make more money, either to like keep pace with rising inflation on your own costs for delivering the membership, or just to, grow your business. Now, sometimes I think specifically early in like a service or a membership site's existence, you might be raising the price often because you're figuring it out. You're really figuring out where the price point is, and maybe you priced it too low. That's a common like kind of issue or mistake for people like releasing products. Or if you have your content and your course, your stuff keeps growing and gets better and better, so you got to raise your price. And that kind of activity is usually front loaded, like it's happening at the beginning of a business. And so if you just launch your membership site, it's a year old, and you say you have like 100 members, but the true vision of your membership site is to have 1,000 members or 10,000 members. It's, you can grandfather in those first 100 users. They're early adopters. You can kind of put them on a path to become partners and affiliates and representatives and close contacts for your, membership to help figure things out and kind of keep them happy. And the cost of not, getting the maximum revenue from them is probably better, than versus, the focusing on the 9,000 members that you think you'll eventually get. And so that's like when you're starting out, it's kind of like focus on the members that you're going to get in the future, and not like the smaller amount of members that you have in the beginning. And so that's another reason to kind of keep the legacy pricing. If you're kind of rapidly changing the price, you don't want to whipsaw those early customers. You want to keep them happy. On the flip side, if your membership site is kind of more mature, it's been around for a few years, that it's potentially still growing, but maybe not growing as fast. You maybe aren't changing your pricing as rapidly because you figured it out, but you are just trying to keep pace with inflation. It's like, hey, maybe you don't want to keep the price, your existing members on the legacy plan. You want them to pay the full value of the product that you have. I guess like quick promotion for a book I like about pricing in general is this book called Street Pricing by Marcos Rivera. And there's lots of good stories and tips in here. This guy worked for a private equity company, and he would often be on the buying side of private equity when they're buying up small businesses. And like one of the first things to do would be come in and fix their pricing. That's like a real quick way to make more money out of that business. And so he coached a bunch of startups and things on how to do pricing. There's a couple good tips in here. So one, I forget the timing of it, but it's something like you should be changing something about your pricing every 6 months to 1 year, and you should be raising your prices at least every 2 years. So it's kind of like you want to stay on top of this. Otherwise, like inflation is going to eat up your business. And then he definitely is not a fan of legacy pricing. So I think he'll say, hey, when you raise your prices, that's the price. And if they want to stay customers, they're going to pay the full price. If they're honestly value your product, they'll happily pay. And there's lots of benefits to that. If you really set up, when you raise your prices, and we'll get into some of the technical challenge with the paid memberships pro platform, but if you raise your prices, pretty regularly, every couple of years, just update with inflation. You set it and forget it. You can run the same playbooks, and it's just kind of part of your business. Everyone expects it, and you kind of don't have to worry about maybe coddling these. Like if you take the flip side, you're like, hey, I'm supporting my early adopters and using them. The flip side is that, like, are you coddling these early adopters and giving them like a discount that they don't really need? So that's some of the thought process, I guess, around like, do you want to offer legacy pricing for your existing members, or do you want to ask them to pay the full price? And we can talk a little bit about like the after I get through these 9 tips here, specifically how does Paid Memberships Pro software handle these things and how to think about it. So the 6th tip I have here is to keep the focus on the value and the benefits in your messaging around the price increase and the price correction emails that you're sending out. If you are raising people's prices, like I said, they don't want to hear about your internal struggles to like pay your bills and how you need more money for hiring new people and things like that. That's not going to make them feel better about paying more for the service. What will make them feel better is if you remind them, and not just in that price increase email, but if you have this as part of your DNA to update customers every few months on what's the new stuff they're getting. So if you've been growing your membership and you have a bunch of new content and you just expanded, a community portion of the site, and you're building a course for folks and you're taking calls and like new stuff is coming into their membership, reminding them like, hey, here's all the new stuff that's happened since you've signed up. And so you can kind of split your members into buckets of like who signed up a year ago, who signed up 2 years ago, and kind of send them different targeted emails about all the new stuff that they got since they first signed up. And just send that to them before you even talk about the price increase. And then when you send your, price correction email, you can remind them of some of that stuff. It's like, hey, here's all the new stuff that, the new stuff that the product has. Another trick that you can do sometimes is if you have an existing membership level, say it's $10 a month, and you're adding some of these new features like a community portion, some other aspects, you can, if you're able to think ahead, I think I don't do this in practice. I see a lot of sites don't do this in practice. We just make new stuff and we give it to our existing users as part of like, hey, we got a new add-on. Everyone has it. It's kind of easy. It's like, I got it. I want the world to know about this and use it and love it. But if you do a little bit of planning, what you can do is all that new stuff, mentally segment it into a new membership level that maybe isn't public yet, and then offer it to your existing members on a trial basis. So when you promote, say you have a membership, you just added a community component to your website, that takes a lot of expense to run. You have to hire a community manager. You have to like manage the software involved with the community aspect of the site. But you want to give it to your existing members, but you're going to have to charge for it and raise prices to support it. So what you can do is create a new membership level that is, the old level plus community, maybe you name it. But what you do is when you present it to your existing users, give them access and say, hey, for a trial basis for the next 6 months or the next 12 months, you have access to the community features for free. And then after 12 months, you say, hey, how's it going now? To keep your membership plus community, you have to pay $20 a month, not $10 a month or something like that. So if you do some planning ahead, you can make sure you put your new stuff into a new membership level and then force people to upgrade to gain access to the new stuff. And you can use a trial to give it to them in the meantime. And a lot of this is the wording. That's like a potential demo in the future. If there's interest in that, is like kind of how exactly to do that in some scenarios with Paid Memberships Pro. But I think a lot of it is you can just do it in the messaging. So if you just literally give everyone access to everything, say it's a trial, and then when you release a new membership level, do the work to kind of remove access to the existing level. You don't have to actually like program a trial or put the trial into a new membership level or anything like that. You're just calling it a trial, the time frame when people have access to the new stuff before you force them to upgrade to a different level. So that's a trick that you can do to get people to like choose to upgrade instead of feeling like they're forced to upgrade. They're like, ooh, I want the new stuff. I'm going to upgrade to get the new stuff. So whenever you can do that, that's great. People are like asking to pay for more. Yeah. So another tip number 7 is to not neglect customer questions. Um, and you know what? I honestly have to like remind myself what we're talking about here. But I think what's happening is like you should expect some people to email you back and say like, "Hey, why is my price going up?" Um, you know, anticipate the frequently asked questions that are going to come up. Um, I think you can encourage people to get in touch with you. This is something that we put in some of our emails is like, if you're struggling, if this price correction is going to be a problem for you, you should reach out to us and let us know what's happening. A lot of time you might have flexibility in your margin to give special deals to people who ask. And you might be surprised that like that little bit of a bump to like ask by email for a lower price is like enough of like a social friction, a little bit of shame that not a lot of people do it unless they really they really are on the verge of like, I'm going to cancel unless I get a deal. There are some people who kind of have no shame and they're like, ooh, like I'll, email to try to save money. I'll cancel and renew every Black Friday to get the deal. They just kind of like try to optimize the thing. And as long as your marketing is set up so you're always making enough money from any user, you can kind of let them take advantage of your discounts. But yeah, I think it's like encourage people to get back to you if they have questions or concerns, anticipate what those are so you can reply immediately, about like, why are we increasing this, and say like, this is just, what we have to do, and focus on the benefits and that stuff that we said before. Let's see. How am I doing on time? All right. Tip number 8. Do thank your members for their loyalty. So I think that goes a long way. And that, kind of reaching out to your older members and saying like, we appreciate you and the value that you're bringing and interacting with you, and, how you're supported our business, like saying those positive things in that email, and in other communication, like leading up to the price corrections, is really good. So include some of that. And another piece of that is you can consider things like that trial of like, if you phrase it that way, like, hey, you're an early adopter, and because we appreciate you, we're going to give you access to the new stuff for free for 6 months or 12 months. Like if you phrase it that way, because we appreciate your loyalty, we're giving you this. And because we appreciate your loyalty, maybe we give you a discount on the next year, and then the price increase happens later. Or like for you, the price increase is happening later. There's some flexibility in how you manage these things. If you have like a monthly membership, you can announce the price increase 6 months in advance. And maybe you just weren't planning on doing the work of the price increase till 6 months later. But if you announce in advance and like, hey, because we love you, you're our early adopters, we're giving you 6 months at the current rate. The increase won't happen for you for 6 months. Stuff like that kind of goes a long way and gives people a heads up, depending on the pricing of like, if it's a higher ticket item and they kind of have to budget for what they're doing, it's not discretionary spending. Like it's good to give them as much of a heads up as possible so they can if you're not doing legacy pricing and they have to pay more. Yeah. And then 9 final thoughts. I guess 9 tip is a fake tip. It's just summing it up that it's all about communication and transparency. So I think, setting expectations, being clear, focusing on what from their perspective, like what they're interested in, instead of like from your perspective, what you're interested in, is important. So
We do have a question or comment from Sensible Senko. Do you think there's a difference in the way you work price increases with B2B rather than B2C?
Right. So Sensible Senko, thanks for the question. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Let me think about that. So for folks who don't know, B2B means business to business, and B2C means business to consumer. And so I guess I just said one of them, which is like the business to business memberships and products are likely to be a higher ticket and likely to have a budget. Like businesses have a budget, and someone has to typically sign off on things at times depending on the price. And so you want to give them more of a, heads up before the price increase comes. And I think that they're going to be more receptive to that kind of language around like what's the value that we're getting. You know, they're kind of buying your product for a specific reason, and so reiterating those values. B2C, there is that stuff as well. They're also price sensitive. They also want to know the value, but potentially, like, you know, B2C membership sites maybe are more of a vibe, or you know, like associations where they're a member, they're almost stuck in there if they want to stay part of the community. Yeah, that's a good question. I'll try to think if anything comes up. But I think that's just the one thing that comes to mind. If you have like specific questions, maybe that'll pick my brain. I'll try to think. I'll think on that more. If we think of it, we can share. Oh, street pricing. I saw street racing in the comments. Street pricing. It looks, but it looks like a. I mean, yeah, it
There's
looks
something,
like.
I typed it wrong. There said something
that's
about
okay.
like racing or something on the page. That's why I think.
Oh, it is. It is a clever book. So Marcos is like a hip hop fan. So every chapter starts with like a different, you know, hip hop song from the 90s usually. So it's like KRS-One. And you know, he's got like DJ Cool. What's this one? Snoop Dogg. And so it's funny. So I think like the hip hop influence kind of looks a little bit like a Fast and Furious.
Where did I find the racing from? Why did my brain type that?
I don't know. It does, like, the cover looks intense. Street pricing.
I wonder if I can edit it.
Yeah.
No, I cannot edit my thing. All right. Well.
So I think one thing we could do is demo. So I could talk about how Paid Memberships Pro handles price updates. So you say, hey, I'm going to increase my prices. We can share my screen. On my Must Love Dogs website, and like, hey, beginners $10 per month, enhanced $25, professionals $50 per month. I'm gonna double my pricing for these. And so technically what you would do is go into the settings, find your levels. Let's kind of just focus on the professional for now. Go into the price, and I can increase it here, right? So the initial payment is $100, the billing amount $100 per month, save level. So now the professional plan is $100 per month. Any new customer who checks out pays the full price. And I can show some of what's happening on the Stripe side.
I think
just happening. Yeah.
One like really quick thing to emphasize is any new customer that checks out is the big like point on the way Jason just updated this price. Existing members won't be updated.
Yeah, exactly. That's the super important point. Like, that was the next thing was going to come out of my mouth too, was, you know, it's that easy to upgrade the price. But if I go to members and I see this new member I checked out earlier today, oh, they bought the different plan. Let's increase the enhanced as well. So I'm going to make the enhanced $50. And I save it. Now it's $50 a month. If I look at this member and I look at their membership here, the subscription, $25 per month. The subscriptions tab shows, you know, the subscriptions they have. It's still $25 per month. So as Sam said, kind of by default, Paid Memberships Pro does legacy pricing. So when you increase a price on a level, it doesn't automatically update the existing subscriptions of any of your customers. Why do we do it this way? Because I think it's I guess it's like kind of like the easy thing to do. So it's like, if you want to do legacy, if you have 10,000 members that have 10,000 subscriptions, all those subscriptions have to be updated, and that's a lot of work that we would have to do in the background. And if you're kind of like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do 75, I meant to do 50. Or like, you know, oops, I didn't mean to upgrade my professional. Like, you don't want to increase their price in Stripe, change it again, increase again. So like, if you have a lot of customers, or even like a small handful of customers, kind of whipsawing all these calls to Stripe to update these is going to be an issue. So we do legacy pricing by default.
It also goes back to don't surprise your members.
Yeah.
And one of our do's and don'ts on raising prices.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, that's exactly. And I think eventually we can build some tooling to help for some of the most common use cases, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But really, I just went through these 9 points. It's slightly different for every membership site. If you're giving people 6 months notice before you actually raise their price, like you don't want that to automatically update in the background. Like, or if you are kind of increasing prices, but then trying to motivate people to upgrade to a different plan, like that's a different way to handle the price increase. Or if you are doing legacy pricing, you kind of get that out of the box, because that just means don't do anything to existing users. So there's all these different flavors of how you want to manage the price increase that, in the way we think about building software in cases like this, when we don't know exactly how people want things to happen, is like we build the minimal version and we get feedback. And we kind of, the most common use cases, we'll try to build tooling to make it easier. So that's what happened. So yeah, you change the price. New people pay $100 per month. Existing people, their subscription isn't changed. Now, if you have a handful of customers, you can manually change their subscription, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's see. I changed this from 25, the level from 25 to 50. So let's change this customer to pay 50. So if I go edit customer in Stripe, it's going to send me a link to that customer in Stripe. It's a similar, let's make sure I'm on the right account. It's a similar, I'm going to show you Stripe, which is the most common gateway that we integrate with, but it's a similar process in PayPal and things like that, and other gateways. Let me try to find that user again. So I have a bunch of different Stripe accounts, so that link didn't work right away. Let me try again. Oop. Why is it not finding them? Oh. I just can't find which Stripe account these things are in. Maybe I should find a different.
Do you have more than one PM Pro testing? Because the subscription
Possibly.
amount on that one wasn't the right numbers anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah, here we go. We always have to have some kind of I wonder. Is it this guy? Oh, wait, yeah, I do. Wait, maybe I maybe chose the wrong one. I chose connect testing instead of testing. Let me think. This is the one I want to use. Let me, maybe I have to kind of, so this, what did I call him? I called him old timer. All right, let me really quick just kind of get, you remove my screen for a second. I'll get a new API key and then try to.
There you go.
Start from scratch.
The Sensible Senko's asking what is behind me. I'm not sure which item you're talking about. This is the Winnie the Pooh puzzle. And then these are, where's one I can take down easily? I am a quilter, and so these are called flat chucks. They're from Missouri Star Quilting Company, and they have them for like different seasons and stuff. So thanks for the fun question. We'll wait for Jason.
Oh. Hold on one second. That's level 2. All right, all right, I updated my Stripe API keys, and now I'm gonna.
Let me know when you want me to share your screen again.
Check out again. You can show it now, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm gonna check out as that old timer user, and just again for $25 a month. Then we'll try to find the plan in Stripe. I think it's probably not a typical issue for folks who are setting up one website that they have 20 different development and testing Stripe accounts that they lose track of them. I don't even, it's kind of silly. Maybe it's like a different email address. But yeah, let's see here. Customers, old timer. Here he is. Okay, cool. So here's my customer. I wonder actually if PM Pro will, because I switched my keys, like I think it should get, if it gets clever, like it knows where to go, or if it, yeah, okay, it updated the customer ID. All right, cool. So I found that customer. Let me switch the plan, $50 a month. And maybe beginners are still 10. I don't know. Okay, we're not upgrading beginners. Cool. So let's start the demo again. I have this old timer user. He's only paying $25 per month. Everyone else, all the new users are going to pay $50 per month because I raised my prices. I want to raise this person's price. Now, I'm assuming I already sent this user emails through my newsletter tools or things like that, gave them a heads up that, hey, the price increase is coming starting this date. Any renewal after this date is going to be charged a new amount. And so I gave forewarning that these people are getting charged more. So I'll click edit the customer in Stripe. It'll bring me to the customer page over in Stripe. Now I can see their subscription here and I can click on it. And it's called enhanced. And I can edit the subscription here. We have a blog post on this and I think it's slightly out of date with the Stripe UI, but we're, seeing that when we started this video, it's motivating us to update it. But it's generally the same. So down here, if I come to pricing, this is the part that's, it's $25 per month. I should be able to edit here, I think. And I clicked edit there. And here I can, it says remove the price and create one. This actually is an update. You used to be able to edit that. Now you got to create a new price. Let's do that. Okay. So I come old timer. This is the subscription. Let's,
our instructions say update subscription and add a product.
Yeah. Okay. Update the subscription. Yeah, so we're going to add a new product at the new price. $50 or, yeah. How do we do this? Like, enhanced, oh, we can, maybe if we remove that product, if you change, like, it's going to ask you if you give it a new name, it'll let you add a new product. But if you delete the old product, you can kind of replace it. Let's do this for now. So we'll call it new. And I'll show you kind of how you can delete the product as well. It's funny, like this is new for me. I think we'll have to redo this again if we want to use this. But these screens, they're even new. Like I think a couple months ago, I took a look at them and they're even slightly different from them. Okay. So 50, I'm going to enter the amount, monthly billing period. You don't need a description, quantity one, add product. So typically when you're using Paid Memberships Pro, this kind of stuff happens in the back end. And I think I might back up here. So yeah, it's confusing if you're following along to figure out how to do this. I actually want to test something. Let me go into the products and kind of delete that different one. And I can hand wave through some of the product stuff. So let me delete this one. This is the new one I was doing. And I'll kind of start over. I'll lay the land. We'll browse Stripe a little bit, and then I'll kind of start the demo over from scratch. So when you create a level in Paid Memberships Pro, we don't automatically create like a subscription or product or prices or anything on the Stripe side. What we do currently is then when someone at checkout checks out for a level, on the fly, we check at Stripe and we say, hey, is there any product for this level at this price that the person is checking out for? If so, I'm going to reuse that product. If not, I'm going to generate a new product. And that's when we kind of, through the API, create a product on Stripe and set it up to match the level. So only once someone checks out does like that new product get created. Otherwise, like, you know, we don't force you to sync things like that on Stripe. Side note, if you have a really old version, like if you're using PayMasters Pro over 4 years ago, I think, we used to create a new product every single time someone checked out. And so, like, you know, Stripe then used to display these products or make them editable, or you could do anything with them. So we just kind of created them in the background and hid them from you. And like every user had their own product. But then Stripe started building up more functionality on their products. And if you looked at products in Stripe, you'd see like for 1,000 members, you have 1,000 different products. So now we reuse the product. So we create a new product for every like level pricing combination. So if someone uses a discount code, that's a new product. If someone uses, you know, checks out for enhanced at $25 and then checks out for enhanced at $50, that's a new product. And so that's also why I tried to back up. So if you raised your prices and someone checked out, let me log out and check out again at the new price. Enhanced for $50. I'll call this new timer. So creative. I believe like a new product should be generated. And so it's possible when you're kind of swapping the products on that user subscription that there is a product already there that you want to use. So check it out. All right, let's see what happened. And I think what I'd like to do is maybe even, so I checked out. I'm going to create a second new timer. At the $50, we'll raise prices again and kind of see what happens. Because I suspect when we update the product for one user, it might update it for everyone who used that one product. So this will be fun. Trying to get some good data in here. I guess if I wanted to, I could use a discount code and show that, but okay. Hitting some time limits. Okay, cool. So I have these two new users. So I believe if I'm at the old timer one, this is the old guy who's 25 per month. If I click edit and I go to their subscription and then I update the subscription, I'm only updating this user's subscription. I can remove their old product and we can add a new one. So here it's like enhanced. There's a new price on the enhanced product for $50 per month. And that's because someone already checked out. And in a second, I'll kind of show like you can do that by hand if you haven't had anyone checking out. So I'm going to remove the 25 per month. I'm going to add the $50 per month product. And I think that's all I want to do. And so I'll click update subscription here at the bottom. I guess schedule update could be useful. The fact that when I update the subscription, it doesn't charge them immediately. It increases their next billing date. So on June 23rd, a month from now, when they would have got their next billing date will be more. So I update the subscription now. They don't get charged now. They'll get charged $50 in a month. But if you want to schedule the update out even further, like I said, you gave people a 6 months heads up, you can schedule the update here. Cool. So now this user in Stripe has a $50 per month subscription, and their next payment is going to be $50. If I go back into PayMasters Pro and I refresh, it still shows only $25 per month here. At certain times, Paid Memberships Pro is going to like automatically check in with Stripe and update the data locally. But what you probably want to do is if you go over to Stripe and you edit, you can click view details on the subscription and then click this sync with the gateway link. And then you see it's going to get the new pricing. So kind of the rough outline there is you increase pricing on the level in Paid Memberships Pro, you have to create a new price for that product in Stripe. And maybe that already happened if someone checked out at the new price. I'll show you how to do it manually in a second. Then you want to edit the subscription for that customer in Stripe and then come back to Paid Memberships Pro and say sync with the gateway. There's a lot of steps. I only edited one subscription. And so even if there was many users on that same product, they have different subscriptions with different line items, and they all have to be edited manually. Now we'd like to build some tooling to do that automatically across a bunch of users. And so we want to, and if you're a developer, you can reach out to us. We have some kind of rough tooling now that like a developer could do it with like a few hours of coding, but we're in the process of building that tooling. So giving us feedback on like what you're really trying to do in the different use cases is interesting to us. So let me show you in Stripe if we want to increase the price now to $75 and see what happens. So really quick, settings, enhance now is like, no, 75 actually. Right, so I edited the level here at $75. Again, that member, the old timer member, he's still paying $50 per month. The new timer members are still paying $50 per month. That's, you know, the price that they had before. If I go into Stripe and I either, you know, I found this this is the subscription. You can probably, like, honestly, the way I would find this would be to find a user, a customer, click on them, and then you can click on the subscription. And then you should be able to edit the pricing here. So this is the product and that's the price. We can view the product details here. Now I'm on the product. There's other ways to find this product. Let me check. Like if you click on billing in the sidebar, I think it shows you some reports. Is this the right way? It says showing you your subscriptions. You can kind of get the subscriptions here. I think if you like search for products, it probably will take you back to your product catalog.
There's a shortcut on the left, Jason, product catalog. Oh, you found it.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's down here, shortcuts. Okay. Yeah. And you might get here, but I think also potentially because of the way that Paid Memberships Pro creates products, you might edit a product called enhanced, but it might not be the enhanced that someone's using. Cause if they used like, you know, like there's enhanced, this is my dev site that's done a lot of stuff, but there's kind of 30 different products here that aren't in Paid Memberships Pro anymore. And it's based on past configurations or discount codes that were used, or prior versions of Paid Memberships Pro did some things slightly differently. So you can kind of come here and, you know, potentially figure out, you know, I think they're sorted by when they were created. So the ones stored at the top are the more common ones. But what you probably want to do is find a customer who's the level, you know, has the level that you want to change. You know, navigate to their subscription. This shows the product. And then when you say view product details, you're on this product page and it has the pricing. Here you can add another price, $75. Monthly create price. Now that price is there, I can edit that customer subscription, choose that new price, and save it, go back to PM Pro and resync. There's some things we're going to look into. Like I said, we can kind of build some tooling. Also, Stripe announced, I don't know where it is, I have to play with it, like an import tool or like a subscription migration tool. And part of that tool is for migrating from other gateways, but it's possible that like product migration tool also is kind of like, hey, update all my users with this subscription to have this new price, like is maybe like migrating from Stripe to Stripe, is a potential there. I think there could be some tricks, like if we remove this price, right? Actually, I'm almost curious. Oh, it won't let us delete it because people are using it. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, if you like set this 75 as the default price, and delete this one, it's possible like that. I thought maybe it would kind of like trick Stripe into charging people the updated amount. Never mind. There's no trick there. So that's something. So I increased that price. Maybe I'll walk through super quick and then chat about one thing I want to talk about. So I find my customer. New timer is only paying 50. I have to do this for all 3 of these customers. I'll go to the subscription. I will go here, update subscription. This has the line item for the product. I can add my $75 per month variant and remove the earlier one, and then say update subscription. So now this person will get charged next. And then if I go back to Paid Memberships Pro, if I edit this member, and then hover over the subscription and click view details, I see this link that I can sync. So right now, PM Pro thinks they're paying $50 per month. It syncs, and now it says $75 per month. Now, Stripe triggers the payment. So when that payment went in, this will get updated eventually. Like this sync with Gateway is kind of optional. It just ensures that if the user comes back to their website and they see like on their account page, how much am I charging? Like they see the updated amount, and they kind of don't have to wait for the system in the background to trigger and resync to subscription. But there are different times when Paid Memberships Pro is checking if the subscription's out of sync before it actually does something with the subscription. But yeah, that's that. Do we have questions?
Got one quick question.
Okay. Yeah.
Did we fix the bug about customers using the free membership more than once? I wasn't aware that there was.
Yeah. I think this is a problem. So this is like, maybe it's not really like a feature versus bug comparison. If you feel like, so it's not necessarily a bug because we never programmed by default that when you have a free trial, if so say you have a level with a free trial or a lower introductory price. Maybe I can hand wave as I'm talking about it. This is the issue I believe this customer is talking about. So if I have a level, my beginner level, let's say, is $0, and then $10 per month. So if I check out for this level, it's going to charge me $0 now and then $10 per month. Sure, let's check out. This is a free trial. Now I'm going to have this new level. It costs me nothing. I get the beginner level for a month. Now, if, let's imagine we fast forwarded 25 days or so, like a month's almost up, and I cancel this level. So I'm going to cancel it. And now I'm still logged in as new timer 2. And I go back and I go, oh, beginner, I can join for free, $0. Oh, actually, so I have an expiration date. So I have to really cancel. Since Paid Memberships Pro 3.0, when you cancel, it doesn't cancel right away. It sets an expiration date for their next payment. But let's imagine you actually canceled. Sorry. So I canceled completely. Now I can go back to the pricing page and check out for this free trial again. And this is true if you have a level with like a $0 initial payment, or if you have a level with like trial pricing. In the settings of the level, you set like it's, $0 and then $10 per month and then $100 per month. It kind of starts the user over at square one. Now, we do have a blog post with a coding gist to change the behavior so that if someone uses a trial, they can't use that trial again. And so Extreme Dog Door, great name, we'll try to find that tutorial, and there should be a gist that's kind of just drag and drop. Maybe you have to set the level IDs, but you kind of run that as a code snippet. It should work. Okay, so you're saying the code doesn't work. You should open a ticket or reach out through our contact form. Maybe there's something going on with that code snippet in 3.0, or interfacing with other add-ons and things happening on your site. Yeah, so there's basically the way the code snippet, there's a couple I think related to trials, but basically the way they work is kind of you either have a trial level and you can only use that level once. So after you use the level, you can't check out for that level anymore. You're meant to like upgrade, or there's one that like hooks into the initial payment and says, hey, if you've already bought this level, don't set the initial payment to the recurring payment. This is on our roadmap to address this in the core UI when you're editing the level. It's the kind of thing that sounds like kind of simple, but of course, like people have 10 different variants of how they want to do this, and the UI around managing this is complicated. And then now with, I don't have my subs table fixes it shirt, but with PM Pro 3.0, we have this subs table that has like a better, like Paid Memberships Pro has a better synchronization with the gateway to be able to do stuff like this. So yeah, a trial for 3 days, and then you need to choose another membership. Yeah, so there should, so if you have like a trial level and when that expires and people shouldn't be able to sign up for that anymore, there is a gist that works. Now there's also like ways to get around it. Sometimes they can choose a different email address, they can use a different credit card, and that gets into this like arms race of like how tedious do you want it to make to keep people from using your trial. And in general, like it's kind of like a business process of, maybe just don't give away so much in your free trial that it doesn't matter, that like people will get nagged into like actually paying for things.
Is that
it's pretty easy. Yeah.
The link I just dropped? Is that the code recipe you've been using, Extreme Dog?
Yeah, that looks like the right URL. Offer trial memberships can only be used once. So we'll have to check. I'll have the dev team check in general. Like, is that just out of date and just not working with current PM Pro? And then specifically, Extreme Dog, if you're a paying member, create a support ticket. If you're not, you hit our contact form and say, I was chatting with Jason on the open office hours and he asked y'all to help with this, and we'll try to help you on your site. So that's a good question. Trials are yet another complication with pricing. And so
we can have a whole open office hours on trials.
Yeah. It's like, yep.
Because we got
it's good to do, especially we probably timing, who knows, like we don't like to give ETAs on things, but timing wise, maybe next quarter we're working on trials, or I forget when we said, like by the end of the year to kind of have a trial update, and then we can kind of present some of the stuff. The contact form. Yeah, it's info. Was it info at paidmembershipspro.com?
Paidmembershipspro.com.
Yeah. So yes. I don't know why the contact form's not. All right, cool. All right. Yeah. So I'll follow up with the team and make sure like you get settled out, and we'll also make sure that gist is working for everyone. We're about out of time. One thing, maybe as a recap, I can go through these here, you're sharing my screen. I'm looking at like the here it is. The tips on this blog post raising membership prices. With respect to like our own business. So Paid Memberships Pro itself is raising our prices. If you go to the pricing page now, and we're potentially breaking our own rule about surprising people, because we updated the website before we sent emails. And we're doing this a little fast, but ideally we would have given more lead time, right? But if you go now, like the new prices are in there, and starting June 1st, those new prices go into effect for new users. So we've updated our pricing page to show the new prices. New people are checking it out at the current price still. Now we chose to offer, actually I'll go 1 through 9, right? So be upfront and honest. So we're definitely doing that. Like we changed the prices. The language in our emails are kind of like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're changing our price. Your price is not changing in the subject line. We're kind of not going into the details of why we're doing this. Things like that. Sensible Senko. So you can put that one on the screen. Will I be charged $200 extra? And that's a serious question. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of chuckling, but we'll skip ahead here to legacy pricing. Existing users are going to be locked into the price that they're currently paying. So if you're paying $397 a year now, you're locked into $397 a year, and we're not raising prices on existing customers. So we're choosing to honor the legacy prices. We've always operated that way from the beginning. We still feel like we're growing, even though we're kind of a mature company and growth is slow compared to the existing user base, like as a percentage. We just feel like business wise for us, we're not interested in milking the existing customers for more money. We on balance can support those users at those price points. And so we're raising pricing on new customers only. Existing customers are locked into their legacy price. So don't be apologetic. Maybe there's a little bit of apology in my tone there, but like we're being firm in the messaging that the price is increasing. inform affiliates and partners first. We have emails planned to go out. And again, I think we could have done this stuff earlier for them, but we kind of had a decision a month ago. It really is timing on us to like have the availability to do some of this communication. But I'm being apologetic there. So I'm breaking all my rules, Sam.
Blame Maggie, the new puppy.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm thinking like we could be even better. Like we are sending these emails to the affiliates. We're getting them to kind of spread the word and update the pricing and stuff in their materials and their websites and things like that. We don't want to surprise our audience. So the price is updated on the page, but the emails are going out ASAP. So they get existing customers all get an email saying your price is not changing. New customers who are on, or not customers, users who are on the mailing list who haven't checked out yet, they're getting a form of the email that says, hey, like, you might have seen our old price and our price is about to change on June 1st. Now's the time to lock in. We are using this as like an opportunity for like a natural sale. So the pricing is going up. It's basically a 50% discount since the prices are raising 50%. So, it's kind of like getting people to sign up now and lock into these rates. Focus on the value. Those emails definitely talk about the improvements that we've made to the product over the past years, especially the emails to the existing users. But that's more of an item also if you're raising their prices. So the legacy people, it's good to remind them of all the cool stuff and say, like I said, like thank them for their loyalty. We're not changing your price. You get all this new stuff for free, basically, and you don't have to worry about it. Don't neglect customer questions. We expect some questions. The emails will have like a prompt at the bottom, like, hey, if you have questions or comments, like please reach out. If you have concerns, if you feel, I think we have some language of, if you're going to have trouble with, never mind. It's not a price increase. If we had a price increase email, we'd have that language. If you're going to have trouble with this price increase, you should contact us and see what we can do. But we're not, that doesn't make sense for the new users. Yeah. And so we're sending that. Well, so yeah, we've already, we've updated the pricing in the copy on our site because we're doing that strikeout on June 1st. The new prices will just be the main price and the levels will actually update to the new price. And we don't have to do that thing I demoed earlier of updating subscriptions because we're just allowing people to have legacy pricing. There are some complications around like not raising prices on existing customers, in the sense of, for Pay Memberships Pro Plus and Standard, your license comes for a number of sites. And so if you signed up a long, long time ago, you're locked into quote unquote unlimited sites for your license. And if you use that license on any number of sites, we track it, but we don't do anything. If you bought a few years ago, you used to get 5 site licenses for Plus, and now you get 2 site licenses for Plus. We've been moving towards a model of, every site that uses Pay Memberships Pro should have their own support license. Like the license is giving you access to our content, ease of updates, access to our support team, and the software is and has always been free. And so you can install the software on as many sites and it continues to work. It never stops. But with respect to using our support team and the services on our website, we keep track of the number of sites that you have on the license. Now, our tooling now doesn't like automatically cut you off in any way, even for updates if you go over the limit, but it does show up in your, let me see, Sam, if actually, no, I don't want to, how can I do this without, yeah, Sam, can you take my desktop off?
Yep. There you go.
Okay. And then I'll try to like get a screenshot of just one section. Or maybe, I might have a test user.
I know I do.
Oh, you do?
I created Derek.
Oh.
Derek has a side.
Maybe, yeah, we could do that. I'm logging into the live site. Don't let me break anything. Sorry. Yeah, I do this one. So I'm going to go into the account page, but I want to like just take, yeah, maybe if I do this, Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna hold on. I'm trying to like hide some content.
I'm the only one that can see what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you can pull my screen up now. All right, cool. I logged in so you all can see me log in and put in my authentication key and stuff like that. I'm an admin, so it's slightly different, but this is your view if you're a customer Pay Memberships Pro and you go to my account and then click to manage your license. It'll show you your license key here, your license type. And then if I'm a VIP with access to unlimited sites, so it's not showing me like how many site uses I have because I have unlimited. So if you also have unlimited, it will look like this. There's no messaging. If you have 5 sites or 2 sites, it's going to show if you're over the limit. And so it shows a box like what sites your key was activated on. And then we try to strip out development sites. So if your site looks like a development site or a local site, it's got the word dev in it, and we show a list of those. We don't count those. We call stale activations, like sites that haven't checked in over a year. We don't count those, but we will count all these sites up here. And what you can do is you can manually deactivate a site. So if you click to deactivate, we kind of just note that. And then in the future, that site may not be able to update through the license key. To really keep a site from updating through your license key, you have to go, it's going to reactivate if that person checks in with the key. So if you really, really like your site key is out there and you really want to make sure a site doesn't use your key, you have to click this button to generate a new key and then put that new key only on the sites that you want. So we have this tooling to manage which sites are using your key and things like that. But if you're over the limit, we haven't been charging you for those additional sites. So we're also announcing like pricing on the additional sites. And if you are over the limit, we give some leeway, but if you're over the limit at a certain extent, we'll send you an email and ask you to pay for the additional sites. The pricing targets like $200 per additional site. And even after the price increase, it's going to be $200 per additional site, which is roughly what you were paying. If you paid $397, you were paying, $200 per site in your plan. If you're an older user that had 5 sites, or you're legacied into a lower rate, or you're a partner of ours and you have 300 sites on Paid Memberships Pro and $200 a site is unreasonable for what you're doing, like that email is meant as like a, like an opening negotiation. So I think for 1 or 2 sites, it's like, yeah, just that's what we pay. If you're hitting a certain level of volume, we can work with you. So you may be getting emails about that as well. I don't even know if anyone on the audience here, if this is applicable to you, our system knows how many sites you're using, and you're going to get an email from us soon. Yeah, so that's it. That's about price increases in general. We're increasing our prices. We're trying to follow our own advice as much as possible. We're one of the things that kind of saves us is that it's legacy pricing. So if you're locked into the price, your price isn't actually increasing anyway. And we appreciate that, because our goal is really to get as many users as possible. And the business is healthy, at the prices that we had before. And as we, raise prices on new customers. Yeah. And we walked through updating manually one customer subscription using Stripe. Again, that process is pretty similar in PayPal. You would edit the user, find their subscription in PayPal, change the subscription, come back to Paid Memberships Pro, and click that resync button. And we're in the process of building tooling to make that a little simpler, and also explore some of the tooling that might be in Stripe. And so if you're a developer in particular doing this stuff, reach out to us. There's kind of things that we can expose to you if you want to take a stab at it on your own. Some of these things are like if you know exactly what you want, and you can, a developer can code it to work exactly the way they want. They don't have to wait on us to build a GUI for it. But if you're an end user, all you can do is edit it manually for now until we release the tooling. But we're getting feedback on that. So even just hearing about what you'd like to do helps us.
We have a couple questions in the comments before we go.
Okay, sure.
And while I still have everybody's attention, since it's on your screen, June 13th, Kim Coleman will be presenting Designing Your Membership Site with Beaver Builder. So we're going to be talking about another page builder that we integrate with. So that will be fun. be with Kim.
Cool.
So the questions that we have is, Reportica, when you have a legacy customer, what do you do when they want to upgrade?
A legacy customer that wants to upgrade. I guess I'm curious. I feel like there's a question behind that question.
This is when you were talking about our pricing updates, so maybe
okay.
like standard to
Okay.
plus,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what's our policy
Yeah,
for
maybe.
that?
Yeah, that's a case. So, and actually, so I glanced over that when I talked about licenses and the price increase, but that's part of the reason we're doing this at the same time. If you have Paymasters Pro standard, and maybe walking through it for PM Pro will answer this question generally for you if you're actually asking this question about your own site. So you might have standard at $247 a year. It's going to increase to $347 a year for new users in June. So if you stay on standard, you're locked into $247. You don't got to worry about anything. If after June you upgrade to plus, you're going to pay the full price, $597, or actually you're going to pay a proration. If you upgrade mid-year with PM Pro, we use the proration add-on, and it automatically calculates like if you've been on standard for half a year, when you upgrade to plus, you really only pay the 50% of the value of the plus for the next half year, and then you pay the full price for the following year. It prorates the price. It's going to prorate based on the full price if you upgrade after June. If you upgrade before June 1st, it's going to prorate based on the old price and lock you into the old price. So that's if you're on standard and you're thinking about upgrading the plus, like now's the time to do it before we increase the price. And then if you if that's a challenge, like I'm on a video here, it's going on YouTube. We have prices on the screen. It always makes me nervous. Like for all time, our pricing's on the screen. If you reach out to if this is a problem, you reach out to the contact form. You can always ask us for like, what was the last sale that you ran? Can I get that price? And we'll honor it. And so, on Black Friday, we'll probably have some kind of sale. That's another chance to kind of upgrade. Like we'll discount the price at some time. And if at any time you kind of reach out and say, this kind of counts as our last sale. So top secret, if you reach out to the contact form, like, hey, I'm going to check out, but I was told I could, get the last sale price, the team will give you that value.
The key is to just be kind.
Yeah. Be kind goes a long way. And I don't know. That's like, we do. It's funny. I'm like immortalizing this on YouTube. It's going to go up on coupon sites or whatever. And maybe it'll become a problem that like everyone who buys our product, like goes through this backdoor to shave the money off. It kind of defeats the purpose of us setting the fair market value of our product. But in practice, only y'all who like love us and watch our open office hours into the 12 minutes of overtime, like catch that message. And it's a small percentage of people who utilize that. So that's good. Like we're able to always do that. Like if someone wants a deal, we can give them the last sale price. But probably to make it simple, just upgrade before June 1st. Yeah.
Yeah. The other question that was said with Sensible Senko said their account page shows 2 out of 2 sites active. Is that because we have a staging site? And it shouldn't be. We don't count staging.
Yeah, sites. I can. If you go to your account page and click on the license, I can't do it now because it's going to share some my true license key on the live site. But if you click on my account and then look on the I forget the exact wording, but it's like the license information. It'll manage licenses. It'll show you literally which URLs activated that license. It's possible you have a staging site and the staging site is not called staging.whatever.com or dev.whatever.com. Like we have a list of, I forget what it is, like 50 different kind of heuristics for like this kind of sort of looks like a staging site. Sometimes we're wrong. What you can do is click that deactivate. It won't get counted. If you're continuing to use that staging site like a year from now, it's going to go back. Now, actually, the reason we give plus 2 sites, honestly, is because we expect people to have like a live site and a staging site and a test site. We're kind of giving you room to breathe so that like our systems don't automatically bug you to upgrade now that we have like site, paying per site license. That's part of the reason of giving like plus 2 sites. I guess technically if you're kind of managing 2 sites, you can use that license on 2 different sites and that's fine. And we're okay with that too.
They said it's because we're doing a migration to a different server.
Okay, yeah. So if you're moving, and yeah, we realize that kind of thing happens. Like people change from one site to another. We thought 2 sites for people on the Plus would give you room. And actually, in another secret for the folks who go into 14, 15 minutes of overtime, we plan for our, like, I think there are notifications when you go over that limit. It's a soft limit, nothing drops. You kind of get to like honor system elect into paying for the licenses if you really are using more licenses. We're really only going to follow up with folks if they say you have a 2-site license and you're using 4 sites, 5 sites. Then we're like, oh, like this person had an opportunity to sign up. It's very unlikely that they're just moving a site or in the process of transitioning. And we'll reach out to those people and follow up with them and work out the deals with them to get additional site licenses for them and, potentially restrict their access if they're not playing ball. 24-hour stream. Yeah, that'd be fun sometime. We could do that and just like swap out
It's been a
team
joke
members.
since 3.0. When Kim and I we were going to plan a 24-hour stream of like different people from the team coming on.
Yeah.
And Kim and I were like, no, it's not happening. We're doing a morning session and an afternoon session.
Yeah. Yeah, we streamed a lot, but we didn't do 24 hours. Yeah, that would be fun. I was talking with Maxie today, and he was like, I'd be nervous to go on video like that. And I was like, oh, okay, we got to put you on video then.
Honestly, I mean, that's what you did with me. And now
yeah.
I'm like, cool, I've got a live stream today. Let's do it.
Maybe, yeah, we'll think about that. Maybe for the last day of the sale. All right, thanks, folks. Thanks, everyone who's been watching and asking questions.
Like and subscribe. I'm
assuming there's no more questions. Yeah.
If you're still here.
Smash that like button, hit subscribe. Yeah.
And
that's good.
We'll be back June 13th at 2 p.m.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See ya.